what's funny?
What up?
Your mom hides Terry's shit.
Oh my god, I know! Dude, one day, my mom was like, oh, these kids leave everything around. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start hiding it. I was like, oh my god, Slay. I was like, fucking do it, Mom.
I wonder if she
Go
does that for the boys.
The boys don't leave shit around.
They really don't. Just their trash.
Yeah, like, when do we ever see anything of the boys laying around?
So all they leave around is trash. But that's not even that bad. It's just on the table.
At one point, I was gonna be like, can we start stealing their clothes when they start leaving them around?
Yeah?
Yeah. You know how fun that would be?
That would be fun.
They would never have any clothes.
Nope. Because out of all of them, Terry's probably the grossest.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, at least Malachi does his Saturday chores.
No facts. Malachi goes to work on those chores. Is he in a mood the whole entire time?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But he does it right. I've never heard your mom tell him to do it twice.
Except for maybe the floor.
Yeah, that's about it. I know your mom told Mickey to do the restroom twice. They're all good kids.
Yeah.
Mara and Terry are just a little weirder than Mally. But that's probably because they go to public school and have a weird mom.
Maybe.
So it turns
Either
out...
that or they just lost it.
Yeah, straight. Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here talking smack about the kids. Mom, you're recording?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Are you gonna keep it?
Do you not want me to keep it?
I don't know. I don't care.
I can delete it if you want me to.
You don't have to. But they are all good kids.
No, they really are.
And Mick and Mally just love each other. That's why they start fighting. They don't want to admit it, but they love each other.
It's crazy because most of the time what they're fighting about is shit that they're gonna get in trouble for if they don't do. No, shut up!
And Mickey's like, do it. Like earlier, the other day, me and Mally were messing with Mick, Mick kept asking him stuff, and I kept answering for Mick. And he was on Malachi, you're supposed to answer for yourself. When someone answers for you, you tell them that I can answer for myself. And he was all, no. And I was all, why is that? I was like, wonder why? And me and Mally both were like, I was like, because he has issues. And Mally was all, because I have issues at the same time.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Malachi says that all of the time. He's on, I just have issues.
It was pissing Mick off so much.
Like, at this point, I don't know if it's just an excuse.
Oh, it 100% is. I'm gonna fight them both. Just kidding.
Do it, do it.
Just a friendly sparring match. Karate time.
Well, don't do it, but...
Mick will be down. Let's be real. Mick will be like, spar?
For a spar?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he would be
Like
down.
with sparring gear and whatnot. Malachi, not so much. He might. Malachi's really cocky. At least he's got that going for him.
Is it really going for him though?
No. Damn, his ability.
Well, we're gonna get into this, so enough with my siblings. I'm glad you love them and all, but I don't know how much I can blast them on the internet, so
Yeah, that's probably going to be the smartest idea.
I hate doing this shit. I'm just kidding. So many of us struggle with should I go like full on
Go for it.
smart and no. Okay. Many of us struggle with the act and mindset of being patient or trusting the process. And, of being patient.
Yeah.
This is something we struggle with whether we want to practice patience or not. For many out there, the act of being patient is meaningless. After all, what's the purpose of waiting around on purpose? From my spiritual point of view, patience is one of the 7 fruits of the Spirit. And contrary to what a lot of people believe, I find it to be the most important. God encourages patience in everything we do. And to get a little perspective, we're gonna dive into the story of Joseph, led by my one and only. So take it away.
So my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, let me get one more dip of my finger in this.
Oh, shit.
This is like really good by itself.
What even is that?
I think guacamole, you want to try?
No.
Has a hint of spice. Okay, so Joseph. He was a little shepherd boy who would have dreams and visions. And one of his dreams...
He was the youngest.
Oh yeah, he was the youngest.
And he was highly favored by his
father.
And by all of the townspeople.
Mm-hmm. He must have been stunning, though. All the townspeople liked him, let's be real.
Either that or he was just that kind.
Mm-hmm. He was also kind of cocky.
Yeah, he was really cocky. Anyway, continue.
But he would have dreams and visions. And his father was, I believe, Abraham.
No,
He
his
changed to
father
Israel.
was Jacob.
No, wait, what? Serious? I swear it was Abraham. No, it was Abraham. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry, I mixed it up. Because Abraham had a son named Jacob, and Jacob had Joseph and his brothers. But Joseph would have dreams and visions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one time he told his brothers that he had about his dream that all of them would bow down to him. And they're all, what the heck is this dude talking about? This cocky son of a gun. Saying I'm gonna bow down, because back then, to bow down to the youngest,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
To bow down to the youngest was bizarre.
Mm-hmm. But he told his father, and his father was like, dang, you cocky. Same reaction, right? But his father favored him, so he gave him a coat, a rainbow coat of dreams. He was the dreamer boy. And as they were in the fields, and Joseph was herding the shepherds, his brothers, and I forgot who else, it was someone else.
Hmm.
What
His
was
brothers
name?
got sent away to do something.
Uh-huh. As they were doing that, they were plotting and scheming.
Mm-hmm.
Plotting and scheming to kill Joseph. That was good. Good soup. I'm still hungry though, so when we get back we can definitely eat some of that pasta. Well, I am.
Onward.
They were scheming to kill Joseph. As Joseph was walking, they pushed him into a ditch.
No.
To a hole.
No.
I swear it was a hole. Like a
No.
little cave.
His dad told him to go find his brothers. So he left in search of his brothers.
And
Okay?
he got pushed into a hole.
And then as he was coming up on his brothers, they were like, dreamer boy, dreamer boy. And then Reuben, I think it was Reuben, one of his brothers, was like, hey, we don't need to kill him. Let's just sell him. And they were like, yeah, okay. Then it won't be on our hands and we won't be, Father won't hate us. And then so they put him in a well.
Oh, it was a well, huh? Okay. Damn, I just read this story too. That's crazy.
Here, do you want my notes?
Yeah. You can have the rest of this. Okay, so they stripped him of his coat, threw him in a well, and sold him. So his blood wasn't on their hands. Reuben was not of the brothers who wanted to kill Joseph. They took his coat and they dripped it in lamb's blood.
Mm-hmm.
And they told his father, they took it to his father.
And they said, I don't know what happened. We found it.
And that some wild animals got to him. But little did they know, they sold him to some slave traders.
They took him to,
Joseph was with the Lord, though. So he was sold to captain of the guard,
there you go.
who can see Joseph was of the Lord. And he was favored. Highly favored. He put Joseph in charge of his whole house. He was basically the top slave. So the house and the land was blessed by God through the works of Joseph. The man's wife saw Joseph, and she was a lustful woman. She wanted Joseph. She was like, "Give me that boy. I want that young slave boy."
That's fucking crazy the way you said that. Oh my god.
Boy, that's how it be. Am I wrong? She saw her chance and lied to her husband. Oh wait, no. Okay, so this is how it went down. So they were in the house together by alone. She saw a chance. They were alone, and she came on to Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph was like, "No, I can't. You're my master's wife.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be wrong." And you want to know what he did? He booked it.
Well, she grabbed his clothes.
She grabbed his clothes. She stripped, like, took off his shirt. I'm thinking she took off his shirt.
I don't know.
Or
It
something.
says, well, like, you would think that back then,
I think it was a coat.
did they wear robes?
It might have been.
And she, like, because it says that she
yanked it off.
grabbed hold of his clothes and he booked it, and she had the clothes in her grasp until they came off.
And he ran. But there's a deeper meaning to that, too, because that's what was going to happen would be considered sexual sin, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called, sexual sins, lustfulness,
Mm-hmm.
or adultery. But when that happens, you're
Well,
supposed to
that's,
do what Joseph did and run.
Yeah, and that not only, like, that was, like, obviously his, like, test, right? Because he's, like, getting given all of this by God, finally.
And God decided. Well, it could have been either God or the
or
devil.
the devil trying
It
to
was
test.
the devil.
Well, yeah, because God doesn't actually test you. But
God
like,
doesn't tempt you.
the devil was like, "Oh, well, you have this good servant. Well, watch, he'll come to me from this woman." And he was like,
Hey.
"Sure, test."
Okay.
He was like, "Stop! Shut up! Get in the car!"
You never bark at people. Why are you barking?
Oakley, leave her alone. She didn't do nothing to you.
Evil. That's weird. Okie never barks. Am I wrong?
No, he does. And
Oh yeah, he does.
and
He
then so
busts
God
at
was
James.
like, "Sure, test him. He's loyal and stuff like that."
Cause that's what because it isn't. That's also what they did to Job. What the devil
Yeah.
did to Job. He went to heaven. That's crazy. The devil was able to
The
get to
devil
heaven.
did a lot to Job.
Yeah, he took everything from him.
And then
Okay, but the crazy thing is, sexual sin is the only sin that you can't. Like the temptation of it is the only thing you can't overcome. Like that, you can't fight off. You know. It said you're supposed to run. What Joseph did. Like lust and all that, whatnot. But he ran, and he lied to her husband, and they threw Joseph in prison.
Yup.
They're like, "Get in prison, boy." Yo, fired. Just kidding. He's not fired. But Joseph stayed true to God. The Lord was with Joseph and gave him favor in the eyes of his keeper. He was put in charge of all the prisoners. Once again, the chief and baker of the Pharaoh were thrown into prison, given a dream only Joseph could interpret. So he did. Pharaoh took his baker and butler, but hung the baker and the butler did not tell Joseph.
Hold on. Okay, do you not know this part?
No, I do.
So then why didn't you stop and tell
I'm
the story?
sorry, I was just reading it. So, I can't remember the dreams, though. The dreams that were given. Like, I know it was of vineyards.
One of their vineyards breaks.
Okay, yeah.
And other than that, I don't remember.
Because I know that... Which one was it? It was the baker. The baker had the dream of the vineyard that broke. And then the butler, his vineyard didn't break.
Yeah, so Joseph interprets these dreams, and well, he's like, they come in and they go to sleep, and then they wake up having had this dream, and they're like talking about it, and Joseph
And he hears them talking.
hears them and is like,
He's like, "Yo,
I can tell you.
I can tell you what that means."
And so he did.
And he tells
And
tells
then
the
all
butler.
he asks is that he remembers him and tells the Pharaoh about him.
Yeah, because he tells the butler what the dream meant, that he's basically gonna be fine. And then he told the baker that he was gonna get hung.
Yeah.
And he told the butler, "When you go speak to the Pharaoh, remember me." And he was not. He didn't. The butler went back to what he was doing and did not remember Joseph. He forgot. He
No.
forgot about that little prison boy. Then the Pharaoh started having dreams that no one could interpret at this point.
He called a lot of people.
He had witches, wizards, warlocks, all the sorts. Every spiritual thing of the land, and asked them, and no one could interpret it because it was dry. The dreams he had were like dry seasons.
They were stalks of wheat.
Dying. Stalks of wheat that would die.
And then the butler remembered.
To Butler
And
remembered.
he said, when I was in prison, there was this boy.
This Jew, this
this
Hebrew.
Jew.
Not Jew, this Hebrew. There was this Hebrew boy who interpreted my dream.
And so he called him up.
And he told the Pharaoh what his dreams were. That there was going to be, I think it was 7 good years.
Yep, 7 good years.
And then 7 years of drought.
And 7 bad years.
7 good years and 7 bad years. And so the Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of...
You can...
He put Joseph in charge of everything. He was second in charge. He was 30 when he became in charge of all of Egypt. Everyone came to Joseph
A lot of
for the
patience.
food because there was none anywhere else. That is a lot.
Alright, so for the 7 years of good,
It was
Joseph
hard.
was in charge of everything. So he was in charge of basically all of...
He was harvesting crops, doing all that.
He was basically in charge of everything.
Putting it
like,
in storage.
He was going from city to city, doing his business, taking the goods.
And he would put it in storage.
Put it in storage. And then the 7 years of drought came and everybody came and started buying their shit. Stuff. Buying their stuff.
And to the point when they ran out of money and couldn't buy anything, so they started giving their donkeys.
Yep.
Giving their donkeys.
And at this point, hold on. At this point, it's gotten to like his brothers and his father. So his father says, go to Egypt, they're selling food. Take the money and buy a little bread. And so they go, they leave Benjamin, the youngest, behind, and they take the money and the donkeys and they go to buy food. And Joseph recognizes them. And so he is like, you guys are spies.
He accuses them.
He accuses them of being spies, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then they have to prove that they're not spies. What do they do?
So to prove, Joseph told them to prove that they're not spies.
Oh, by going and getting
Their brother Benjamin.
And they were gonna... Can you roll up the windows? There's so many mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And,
I rolled it down and said, oh, that's crazy.
I guess leave that one... I guess leave one open for Oakland.
I'll leave that one open because they're all over there.
Yeah, okay. And, so he tells them to go and bring back Benjamin. And he gives them all this food. And they give him the money. But he puts the money he tells his people to put the money back in their thing. And so they leave, and while they're going back, they realize that the money is still there, and they're like, oh my god, what happened? Like, somebody messed up. What's gonna happen to us? This and that. And so they go and they tell their father and this and that. And all of this stuff. And he finally, like, allows them to take Benjamin. Benjamin.
The father, because the father didn't want them to take
and
Benjamin.
He says, take more money and the money that you owe him and give it all to them. And then come back with more food and buy more food. And he said, they're like, alright, cool. So they leave. And they come back. And they go through all of this again. They bring Benjamin to Joseph. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah,
and
blah,
he's
blah.
all...
You're crazy.
What do you want me to say?
That's fair.
And then, well, they do some talking. I don't really remember what it's about, though. And then, they go on their merry way, right? And he tells his people to put. Oh, he has dinner with them. He has dinner with them, doesn't he?
He does. He has dinner with them.
Dinner with
Invites
them.
them to his chambers.
Invites him in, has some dinner, and then he tells his servants to put his gold cup
in the youngest brother's bag.
Ben's bag. And so they're riding, and then he tells his people that his cup has been stolen, and they go through his stuff and they find it, and then they come back, and Joseph tells them that he's gonna take Benjamin as his servant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he did all of this because he wanted Benjamin to have a life. You know?
Then he told him who he was.
And then he was like, oh, gosh darn it, I don't know what to do. And then finally was like, it's me, Joseph.
Joseph, and he cried with them.
Yeah.
I feel like he did it because he had a little spite in him.
Yeah.
Because they sold him to, because let's be real, they sold him to slaves. That's why he made him go back and forth, back and forth. 3 gold coins.
3 gold coins.
A pack of silver, maybe.
And then, and then he tells them to go get his father and bring him back.
And all their cattle and sheep.
And then he goes to Pharaoh, or Pharaoh talks to him or something like that. And he tells him of his brothers.
And his father.
He says, tell them to bring their sheep, their children,
and their servants.
And give them the best land in Egypt.
The best land where all the crops grow.
And so he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joseph has 2 children.
Yeah.
And his father is on his deathbed.
And he tells them all the tribes of Israel.
And he takes his kids to his father to get blessed. And his right hand is on his youngest child. And he's like, no, put your right hand, my oldest child, give him your blessing, blah, blah, blah. Because that's like saying that whoever's under the right hand is like better.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, your youngest will thrive over your oldest child. Teaching him patience one last time.
And then he was that's when he told him, like, what was it, the line? What's the line called? Judah? The tribe of the line, I think it was Judah. That all the kings would come from Judah. And then there's a few others, and I can't remember it all.
I didn't get through all this.
Where's my phone at? This is actually interesting. Okay, so we told him to bury him in the land of Canaan. That was his final wish.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it.
What are you reading on?
I don't know.
Okay. Here. Here. This is Jacob's blessing.
Oh, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellence of dignity and the excellence of power, unstable as water, thou shalt not accept, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiled thou it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations, O my soul. Come not thou into their secret, into their assembly, my honor. Be not thou united, for in their anger they slay a man, and in thou self will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath for it. Oh, it's because their sister, someone slept with their sister without marrying her, and they killed some people. Yeah, I remember that story.
Mm-hmm.
And their wrath for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
Oh,
Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion, is lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him
they're thinking
shall
that they're
the
about to
gathering
get blessed,
of
and
the
they
people
get
be.
this.
Binding his fowl unto the vine, and his ass colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Oh.
Zebulun shall dwell at the heaven of the sea, and he shall be
Beautiful.
for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens, and he saw that the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulders to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse's heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for my salvation, O Lord. Gadi troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong, by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee, with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breast and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors, unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. Okay. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. Benjamin shall a raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their fathers spake unto them, and blessed them every one according to his blessing. He blessed them, and he charged them, and he said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron and Hitti, in the cave that is in the field of
It's crazy because he
Machpelah,
told Joseph
which is
this
before.
first.
Yep. Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron, the Hitti, for a possession of a burial place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah, his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah, his wife. And there I buried Leah, the purchase of the field and of the cave. That is, there was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed, and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. Damn. Yeah, he cursed a lot of them. Well, blessed, sorta. He was telling them what they were. Because what they wrong is doing, that's literally what God would do.
He was blessing them in a way.
Mm-hmm. He was telling them.
And he was telling them that through, like, from God.
Mm-hmm. God was right. Because King David was a descendant of Joseph, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so Joseph was put through trial after trial, and he continued to serve and be of the Lord. So he was gifted time after time after time.
And they all had land in Egypt until the Pharaoh died, and a new Pharaoh came in charge, and they didn't know who Joseph was.
Yeah.
And then all the Hebrews became
Through
slaves.
every trial, he never lost sight of the Lord. When you have patience, everything comes together right in front of you, your eyes, like flowing water.
Stop.
Out of the 7 fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Patience brings all of those together. And gives you every single one of them.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know. Gotta have patience in this world. What you want could take you a lifetime, or it could happen tomorrow. But you gotta like set goals for the long term, you know.
Yeah.
Because the world is terrible. It'll break you down. You can want something now, but I feel like it tastes better when you wait, you know?
Yeah.
It's like with cooking. If you don't like rush cooking and you just take your time with it, that food's going to be delicious.
Yeah.
It's all the good stuff.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Poor Joseph, though. Straight sold into slavery. That's something your older brothers would do to you, though.
Apparently.
Hey, at least.
Fucking 3 coins.
Literally. But
I'm pretty sure it was 3 coins.
At least homie came out of it and became second in command of a whole country.
No facts for a fat minute, too.
Until the Pharaoh died, and until he died actually, and that's when everyone forgot all the pharaohs forgot who Joseph was.
Yeah, after he died.
And Moses came to be. The story of Moses.
Alright, what are you doing with my papers? Getting them all dirty and shit with your Taco Cabana? Oh, sorry, it's not Taco Cabana.
That's why I'm gonna sell me for